Going on, everyone? It's Alex back here with the weather. So we have been seeing some pretty interesting trends. We're seeing more and more likely that the front that will break some of that heat off by the mid-month could be a potent one, and we could be talking about severe weather returns. So we will watch that, as well as a sneaky tropical storm is possible by next weekend. We're gonna get that into our video, and our temperature anomalies and temperatures and everything else will be mentioned in the video. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And turn on daily notifications for any upcoming videos or future severe weather events or whatever. So, I said that this weather pattern is really boring. It has lived up to that standard. It has been extremely inactive. I mean, honestly, throughout the whole entire U.S., the only real parts that are getting these massive thunderstorms are near Ontario, Canada, Wisconsin, the Central Plains a little bit, and that's pretty much it. And then everyone else is honestly really quiet. Yeah. So, we will get a little bit more active into the mid-month. So, finally, we might be talking about some much needed thunderstorms and probably even some beneficial rains. And WPC is hinting at around an inch or inch and a half for these events coming up. So it's actually going to be pretty nice, okay? So we're going to start off with the European and look at the general pattern. And you can see the general pattern. You're just going to have maybe a pretty, intense cold front, but it's not going to bring, much severe weather at all. It's probably just going to bring some heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms to the Mid-Atlantic and New Jersey. I'd still be watching out for the potential for some stronger cells that could produce this, convective lightning that we were talking about. The video that I uploaded just yesterday, that's going to be a perfect example of what we could see on Wednesday, where you just have these convective bursts of lightning, and it could be possible. I certainly can't rule it out. But main theme of here is there's going to be a massive ridge of high pressure dominating the central and eastern U.S. After that front rolls through, temperatures dramatically drop off. And Friday morning, some people in New Jersey and in the Mid-Atlantic may have their first frost. Yeah, we're talking about frost this early in the season. So it's a pretty interesting thing to, be talking about this early in the season. You can just see the massive high pressure just going to be dominating the Northeast. 1,035 millibar high pressure. That could put, that's actually a very intense high pressure right there. But we are watching that there's going to be a lot of tropical moisture off the southeast coast. And watch what the European does this run. Watch what it does. It actually tries to form it into a formidable storm. And what happens once we get into the morning of Saturday, you actually have a pretty well-defined low pressure with showers and thunderstorms around it, and some could be strong. And you're really starting to see some very impressive rains and thunderstorms. Now look at this. By the time we're getting into Saturday night, into the wee hours of Sunday morning, look at this massive low-pressure system, almost tropical. I think it might even be tropical, but you can just see the heavy rains and probably some thunderstorms that are associated with the outer bands starting to enter through New Jersey and into the Mid-Atlantic. This is impressive stuff. And why are you seeing this? Well, let's see. So why are we seeing this? We have a massive high pressure all across the U.S. and you have a big storm out in southwestern Canada. So the real only driver is the tropics. And what's happening is that your tropics are entirely free. So there's nothing pushing it out to sea because that ridge is going to start to die down once we get into the weekend. It's going to be cold. So what it tells me, the ridge is going to start dropping out and it's gonna start moving away from that cold front. That cold front that sweeps through Thursday, that's gonna be responsible for potentially bringing this system up the East Coast. That is certainly a possibility we need to watch. I think the National Hurricane Center needs to be on guard for this. Again, I'm not saying we're gonna get one, but you just gotta be very alert about this. And this has happened over the years. Take something like Sandy. That is something that, happens over the years. We haven't seen a superstorm in a while or a tropical storm. Then we're overdue for it. So we have to watch this out very carefully. By the time we get into 8 a.m. Sunday, our bands start making it through New Jersey, the Jersey Shore, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Cape Cod, some of the Mid-Atlantic coast. And if we actually zoom into the Northeast a little bit, look at this very strong low pressure, 991. That is a pretty darn strong low pressure. That'll be probably characterized as a tropical storm at that point. And once we get into the afternoon, look at this heavy rain whiplashing the Jersey coast. And we're probably going to be even talking about some thunderstorms embedded in that. I mean, probably not, but again, the intense core convection that's happening right now, 990 millibars. That is impressive. 8 p.m. Look at this heavy convection. I mean, this is really putting down some heavy rain, thunderstorms. I think there's probably going to be some frequent lightning in that. Winds are really starting to crank out. I mean, we're seeing 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts all across the New Jersey area. And then once the time we get into 2 a.m. starts dying down, but we still have these winds and heavy rains. Look at this. And the outer band gets all the way into central New York. Man, we have to see about this. This actually could be real interesting here. This right here, I seriously can't rule it out. And then it starts to finally die down once it's the time we get into Wednesday. My bad. But also, what you notice is you have a very, very potent area of very cold air behind that. And what you're starting to notice is you have a massive ridge that's going to start forming. And you're going to see that all these red lines start getting all the way up to Canada. This means you have such a warm air mass. And what happens is you start to get a big time low pressure forming off near the Dakotas. You see that 997 right there? That is a big signal. We are talking about a big cold front mid-October. And that is a part of our analogs we are watching for this month of a big, strong cold front during this time. And most of the malls are showing this right now. So by the time we get into October 16th into the 17th, look at this cold front. It's really, starting to put some pretty decent thunderstorms across Illinois, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, probably even some severe weather. Who knows? This could be a secondary severe weather season, severe weather outbreak. We have to watch for this. Very strong low pressure up north. And then this starts to march off into the east. And strong thunderstorms continue throughout the Ohio Valley and mid-south, deep south. And then by the time we get into 2 p.m. on Saturday, look at this front really just starting to, get a little bit more dangerous for the East Coast, for the Mid-Atlantic. Look at this line. Look at this line of convection really starting to take shape across the eastern seaboard. Look at this. So you're getting some pretty nice convection with that. Again, we're going to have to watch this. I certainly think this could be possible. Again, that front is certainly possible due to, the cold air that's going to be surging in for the end of the month. This is certainly possible. And this cold front really just starts to take a negative PNA look at that. Look at this cold air just surging into the Ohio River Valley. And then this eventually makes it off the East Coast with some pretty potent, significant thunderstorms and maybe another type low pressure and maybe another big cold front behind that. So, man, this weather could get pretty wild once we get into the mid-month. I think it could get pretty wild. You can just see the 30s up north. Even if we take a look at the temp anomaly, I mean, you can just see really defined that there's going to be a ridge. By the end of that week, look at all that heat just getting pulverized, getting shot up into the eastern seaboard. And this causes some very warm air. And then not so much of a cool crash behind it, but some cooler air. And then what I'm thinking is that new blob of warm air near Canada and Illinois and those states, that's probably another big ridge trying to form, and that's going to try to pull even more warm air out ahead of it, and that's going to produce another strong cold front. So I think this could be a pretty interesting time period we need to watch out. Wow, almost 90 degrees today. This is insane. This heat has been insane this year. I mean, it's just been so hot. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about right now. I mean, this cold front could definitely be something we need to watch out for. And this could be more of our, significant events of the year. We'll see. If it delivers or not. But, yeah. It's pretty interesting, If we take a look at the QPF for that tropical system, actually, let's go back. I mean, look at this rainfall really happening across that cold front. Really just dumping. That might be a flooding threat also. But I want to go back to that tropical system. Look at this, man. I mean, the European is hinting at 3, 4, 5.5 inches across New Jersey. Really dumping some very heavy rains. This is really interesting. And then you have that strong cold from behind that. So this tropical system, I'm going to keep an eye out on that. I think it's certainly possible. It's not impossible. I know October can be a very strange month, but I'm telling you, since we had no tropical systems this year, I cannot discount this. Because you don't have a cold front, you don't have a ridge. So what happens is it can get pulled into the East Coast more easily. This is certainly possible. So I will be watching out for that and that cold front we are talking about by the middle of the month. And that is pretty much your update for this video. Again, tropical system is what I'm a little bit more worried about. So we may have to deal with a tropical storm next weekend. I don't know for sure yet, but I will say anything is possible. And we've seen a lot of wild twists this year. So any wild twist in this forecast could put us in danger or maybe not. So anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see when we will upload. If there's anything more significant in the European model, then we might start, getting a little bit more worried. But for now, it's be cautioned about the weather because it's not going to be all hot and humid and so nice and, glory. No, it's going to start changing. And I have a feeling there's going to be a complete pattern flip by the middle of October. So really just keep that in mind. I think this weather could get a little bit more volatile. Not, overly crazy like a severe weather outbreak for the whole entire middle and eastern U.S. No. But I do see severe weather potentially returning because of that very warm air that's surging ahead of that front. We will have to watch this. All right, guys, that will be it. And I will see you guys in the next one.